Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Simon Rafe. Paladino rails against homosexuals. The Republican candidate for governor of New York railed against homosexuals during a speech about education at a Brooklyn synagogue. Paladino's comments came during a campaign event in support of religious schools and educational subsidies. He also said that he would veto any attempt to legalize marriage for gay couples.
I didn't march in a gay parade this year. The gay pride parade this year. My opponent did. And that's not the example that we should be showing our children, and certainly not in our schools. And don't misquote me as wanting to hurt homosexual people in any way. That would be a dastardly lie. My approach is live and let live. I just think my children and your children will be much better off and much more successful getting married and raising a family. And I don't want them to be brainwashed into thinking that homosexuality is an equally valid or successful option. It isn't.
House may define beginning of life. The House of Representatives is set to conduct hearings to define the beginning of human life, which could help resolve the long debate over the pending reproductive health bill in Congress. This contentious issue has prompted an inquiry, quote, to answer the question, when does human life begin, unquote. Now, a majority of medical practitioners believe that life begins at the moment of fertilization or conception, although there is a school of thought that states that life begins upon implantation in the uterus. More explanations from Minnesota bishops. The Catholic bishops of Minnesota have issued a brief statement on marriage, saying that having same-sex attraction does not deprive anyone of basic human rights, but also does not create the right to marry someone of the same sex. The bishop's catechetical statement stated that a constitutional amendment clearly defining marriage as a union of one man and one woman would be one practical measure. It also stated that redefining marriage and legitimizing same-sex unions would be a destabilizing move. Stay with us, we'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
CatholicUnderground.com, the podcast about our Catholic faith and new media.
Student teacher ousted for gay marriage comments. A candid conversation between a student teacher and a fourth grader about gay marriage led to his abrupt dismissal at Beaverton, Oregon. The dismissal came after the student teacher answered a fourth grader's question about his marital status by saying that it would be illegal for him to marry because he would choose to marry a man. Now, the district has denied anti-gay discrimination, but a lawsuit is being considered. And lastly, Council of Europe recognizes conscientious objection. The Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe voted to make substantial changes to a resolution which could have curtailed healthcare workers' rights to opt out of performing abortions. Representatives from Ireland and Italy, both Catholic countries, pushed for amendments to protect conscientious objectors, forcing the resolution's original authors to vote against the final version of their own proposal. I'm Simon Rafe. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Michael Voris is once again coming to us from Rome. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tell your friends about us, and God bless.